Oh, good evening, good evening, good evening. This is Des Moines Unfiltered, bringing you guys a real live update on the case between Tyler Kilmer and Devontae Crosby. So, those who may remember my first story involving these two gay partners, Tyler Kilmer is the one that's on trial currently for the unaliving of his partner, Devontae Crosby. So, if you last week remember, Tyler's Kilmer defense attorneys was trying to get him off on a lesser charge, citing that it was a self-defense that for the reason why that he unalived Devontae Crosby. And from my explanation and from what I read during the first part of the series before it went to sentencing, I didn't believe it. So here's a summary of pretty much happened. So according to the article, they was in a 10. They said it was the relationship was like 10 days. I don't know how or for what reason, but one of those microwave relationships. We all been there. But the relationship was on for 10 days, but it had a lot of turmoil. They was fighting. There was a lot of domestic violence between the two of them, and of course, the authorities were called out to Devontae's house several occasions. Now, the last incident that took place was involving, of course, the two couple. The police came out there for a second time that last night, and they did suggest and told Tyler that he needs to leave. He needs to leave. I don't care if he's going back home or going to a friend's house. He does not need to be in the residence, especially if authorities have been called multiple times to this property. So he abided by their suggestion. They was kind enough to take him to a hotel of his choosing, where he would just stay the night and then go arrange with friends and family. Somebody can pick him up, or he gonna go to somebody's house. But no, I would say around about 2 or 3 o'clock that next morning, Tyler got in his mind. I don't know what drove him to do it, but he went back to the Devontae Crosby house. They get into another scuffle, and unfortunately, this was the last straw that caused the unaliving of Devontae when Tyler stabbed him with a knife. So, fast forward to today. So the sentences took place on June 2nd of this year, where the judge was reviewing the facts from both the defense and the prosecution in regards to the case. Now, granted, the defense of Tyler, they are trying to get him on a lesser sentence, meaning that they want him to be charged for a lesser crime, and citing that it was a self-defense issue. And again, this all takes place in New York. So New York does have a self-defense, law or act, which is called the Domestic Violence Survivors Justice Act. So that means that pretty much if you are a person who has been suffering through domestic violence, meaning that no matter if it's physical, mental, verbal, this act that's been in place, that was enacted in 2019, can be used. But make sure the defense and the judge are presented with the facts, for the reason why that this act that's been initiated can be a viable use for your case. So this is what the defense of Tyler wanted to present to the court. But I ain't buying it. I'm sorry, I didn't buy it the first time, because again, at the end of the day, if you're going to sit here telling me that the police, the authorities that was called back to the Devontae Crosby house, not once, but twice in that same night, and they advised you that you need to leave. They told you that you need to go. Why would in the living world would you still return back to the house, and then now we have one person that's no longer here? So not only the family has to suffer, because it's on both ends. Because now you're in jail and trying to be arraigned and sentenced, while you have the parents of Devontae mourning and have to bury their son. Because you decided, I'm just want to go and come back. After all this experience with this violence and all this other things you guys were dealing with that same night, I'm sorry, I can't do it. So fast forward again. This is June 2nd. So after the judge has reviewed all the facts, figures in regards to the case, they did find that Tyler was guilty. I mean, literally guilty of unaliving his partner. Because again, the defense trying to use that act of 2019 from New York, no, it's not going to fly. Because again, you had common sense to stay your ass at that hotel and go home or whoever, but you decided to leave your hotel at 3 o'clock in the morning, go back to Devontae's house, and now this is where you're at. And forgive me, guys, I'm reading the thing. So the judge didn't buy the self-defense act that they tried to throw at him and sentenced him to a maximum 25 years of life in prison. Because you wanted to, for what, I don't know what was in your mind, said to go back there, but you can't throw stones and trying to hide your hand, if I'm saying that correctly. So you basically went back to his home. You went back to the scene of crime after the police told you that same night, you do not need to come back to his home. We've been called here several times. You need to find somewhere to reside, to live. Now, granted, I'm not sure if Tyler had his parents stay with, or he has. To me, it's like he didn't have his own place at all. So he was staying with Devontae. And again, this was a 10-day relationship, mind you, 10 days. No. So I would say the moral of this story is, and these are just my thoughts and my opinion, my views, that when you are getting to know someone, make sure you get to know people. I know things will come out of the blue, out of the head. Things just that what happened, but you have to really have that gift of discernment. If something you feel is not right, it's not right. Go with your gut feeling. Don't sit here and dwell on it. Don't try to make something else out of it. You go with your gut feeling. Because this all could have been very preventative. This should not happen. Devontae Crosby should be here. He should be here. And for this individual to sit here and try to convince the judge that he acted out of self-defense when you deliberately went back to the home, to his house. Where was the self-defense? Especially after the authorities have been called to the home on multiple occasions. So where was the self-defense? Because you literally got a knife and unalived him in his home. But you acted out of self-defense. That should be the last thing you should do. And now, unless Devontae was coming at you with something, with a weapon or something, then yeah, I can see you acting out of self-defense. But there was no self-defense when the authorities was called the first couple of times. There was no self-defense then. But now you're trying to save yourself because you knew that you using it wrong for this. And you want people to feel sorry for you, have sympathy for you, for your BS. I'm sorry. I'm not having no sympathy for you. And if you do, hey, that's on you. That's between you and God. I don't judge. But I'm not having no sympathy for you, Tyler. And I'm pretty sure your defense attorney will probably try to appeal the decision. I'm pretty sure they will. But at the end of the day, you had the choice to stay home or stay in that hotel and go somewhere else. But you made another decision that ended not in your favor because you decided to go back to the residence. So, sad, very sad, tragic ending how this happened. Only if you took the time to really think and really examine and analyzing yourself before you made that quick decision to return. But hey, you get what you pay. You get what you paid for. And I'm sorry it didn't work. I'm sorry, not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. It didn't work in your favor because no. Anywho, well, I'm glad you guys stuck with me. I know it's been a long time. I know I was going to give you back the update. So this actually took the sentencing was did take place on June 2nd of this month. So we'll see if there'll be any more additional updates. Like I said, I'm pretty sure they're going to try to appeal that sentence, still trying to get him on a lesser charge, but I hope the appellate court, appeals court, whoever, uphold what happened in the previous decision, previous sentencing. Because again, you had the choice. You had a choice. Choices. You just made a dumb one. And now you need to pay for your crime. Alright, this has been the More Unfiltered. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. We will bring in more stories because I do have another one in the pipeline that's coming up where it's actually happening now that I read about last night. So I'm trying to get myself prepared for that video as well. Let's get the conversation started. If you feel like this sentencing was just for Tyler, or did you feel that he should have gotten a lesser charge based on that 2019 Act in New York? Let's have a discussion. Be respectful to those who have opinions, because again, opinions just like assholes, everyone has one. So just be respectful, have a nice open dialogue, and let me know what you think about it. Alright, thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys later.